Hey guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? So I just want to do some road rant, and I want to talk about something I haven't mentioned before very much, and I want to talk about it. It's a shout out to God and giving credit where credit's due to Joe Holden, the pastor of Calvary Chapel Temecula. So here goes. If you guys want to join me, thank you. There's four forces in nature. There's gravity. Gravity attracts mass objects of mass together. Hence, we don't fly away or float away from the earth because we have mass, and so does the earth, and that attracts us to the earth, which keeps our feet on the ground. Unless we're standing on our heads, which keeps our head on the ground. Then there's electromagnetism that attracts positive charges to negative charges. It creates electromagnetic fields. Electricity is a field where electrons move, and magnetism is a field where positive particles attract to negative particles, and positive particles repel each other from other positive particles, and negative particles repel each other away from other negative particles. That's part of the electromagnetic force as well. The attraction of positive to negative, but the repulsion between positive and between negative and negative. And then the weak nuclear force is the third force, another force. That force is not really that important to me. I'm not really sure exactly why it's there or exactly what it does. I don't know everything about physics, but the topic mainly I'm going to bring up is the strong nuclear force. That's the fourth force I've mentioned. Now here's the deal. Atoms are made of a nucleus, which has a certain number of protons and an equal number of neutrons. Protons have positive charge, neutrons have zero charge. And orbiting this nucleus is an equal number of electrons as there are protons and neutrons, and the next electrons have negative charge. So here's the deal. According to electromagnetism, the nucleus of an atom, which is what everything is based on, all matter is based on, at least at some level, is a bunch of neutrons and protons clinging together. And nobody knows why this happens, because technically, according to electromagnetism, all the protons in the nucleus of any atom should fly apart. They should repel each other, and there would be no nucleus of any atom, and there would be no matter. I mean, there would be no us, because we're based on atoms, and atoms have a nucleus, which has a bunch of neutrons and protons sticking together. Even though, according to electromagnetism, all the protons should fly apart because the positive charges should repel themselves from each other, which would make our existence impossible. So it turns out that the strong nuclear force is actually 130 times stronger than the electromagnetic force that should cause the protons to fly apart from each other. 130 times stronger, ensuring that the protons, by a factor of 1 in 130, won't just repel each other, and there'll be no more nucleus of any atom, and therefore no matter as we know it. But here's the question. Science has identified the strong nuclear force. Science has named this strong nuclear force, but science has not figured out what causes that force to happen. Why don't the protons repel each other? It's easy to study something, discover something, and name something, and acknowledge something, but we haven't figured out what causes that. And Joe Holden brought out the point to me and a bunch of some people after church one day at Calvary Chapel about 2 or 3 years ago, that it's possible that force is God. That God is responsible for the strong nuclear force. There's no better explanation because there's no other explanation. We don't know what does that. And God's as much of a theory, as possible theory as anything, because we don't have anything else we don't have anything else to explain it if it isn't God. So there's that. That's a huge shout out to me, to God and his existence of Him. Because if there's no God, what keeps that? What is responsible for that strong nuclear force? Just because science has named something and discovered something, it doesn't mean they understand where it comes from. I could name anything I want, but that does not mean I understand how that thing came into being, or even very much at all about that thing, So that's not only a shout out to God, but it's a shout out to Joe Holden for saying that to me, and actually at that time giving me this information, which actually has helped me with my thoughts about God, because I'm a scientist at heart sometimes, and he's got a good point there. So I wanted to say that. And not only that, I mistakenly said on one of my videos that there's 46 constants in nature. There's actually 26. I got the number wrong. But nonetheless, there are 26 constants in nature. Like pi is one of them, and all that. Just the strength of gravity. Constants that are there, that if they were off by almost anything, we wouldn't exist. 26 of them. If any one of those 26 not only just didn't exist, but were different than they were by even the most microscopic, astronomically small amount, this whole universe wouldn't exist. So what? Another question. I'm hypothetical or maybe even rhetorical, but it's still a question. Who made that happen? Who made 26 constants that just have to be just what they are for any life to exist, or even much less or matter, for that matter to exist, or the universe to exist. So there's good food for thought when you study science with an open mind. And doesn't mean I know everything. Doesn't mean these answers that I have answers that are just wow, out of this world about anything or God. But the part about the strong nuclear force is a good point, I think. Until we figure out what causes that, when really those protons should all repel each other, there's a case to be made for the thought that is God doing that. And I give Joe Holden credit for thinking of that and telling me that after church one day. And it's just good. It's good evidence that I think the Roman Church really is Jesus Christ's church, because I think it's a good chance God and Jesus exists, and it's a very low chance and very almost no chance that somebody just drummed up this organization called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints just to snow somebody into thinking that they're God's organization. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why would they set up all that elaborate structure on this earth just to make us think that there's Jesus Christ? Just to think that they're Jesus Christ's church, when in fact that's all a sham. Who would do that and why? And not only that, it would take an awful lot of money, an awful lot of strings to pull. And who would do that? And why would they want to do it? So it only leaves, to me, it's Jesus' church, or it's some people say there's some machinations of Satan in there. Well, first of all, I disagree with that. I think it is Jesus' church, but like I said in my last video, even if it turns out that there's some blurry lines there, I'm sticking with it, because I don't mind Satan. I'm not afraid of him. I've confessed myself to be a Satan worshiper not even that long ago. So my actual thought is it is Jesus' church. And I'm not afraid of any thought of it being Satanist, because for two reasons. First of all, I don't believe it is, and second of all, I'm not afraid of worshiping Satan. So there you have it. But I believe that, I'm saying right now, I believe that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is Jesus' church and an organization on earth today. I believe it. I'm going to go with it. So anyway, I love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.